Hi guys, Rich from Trackspark here. Hope you're all good and had a good March, and also happy Easter to you all. Hopefully the sun is starting to come out wherever you are. Um, so yeah, let's get on with it. This month's tutorial I've called Wall of Loops, obviously in reference to the wall of sound. And what I've done is I've made like a multi-layered sort of instrument out of loops and samples um, that creates the sort of the main body of my track, the main sort of part where I use keys or whatever or synths, etc., etc. So I put them all together, these loops, and yeah, that's the main sort of purpose for it. It's just like a wall of noise that I've used as one sort of synth. So let me play you the tune, and yeah, and then I'll just show you what I've done. So here you go. So there you go. It's a bit of a sort of a poppy dance tune, I guess. Um, so this sort of section here, from this instrument here all the way down to here, these are the loops that I've used and the samples. So let's just, if I just mute this, then we can listen to what's sort of going on. So there's several things there. First, I guess I should sort of mention this one here. This is the sort of analogy type synth thing that you can hear that's doing something slightly sort of different to the rest. If we look along here, then we can see it drops out here. It's been muted out, and everything becomes slightly more, I guess, slightly more in unison. In that section there, but I still like it as part of the main thing because it just creates that sort of body, that body of noise. Anyway, so so what I've done is I've got some different sounds here. I've got two piano loops here. I've got this sort of analog sound, this analog synth. I've got an organ sound, and it's from I've called it Exhale because it's from the Contact library from Output called Exhale, but it's sort of like a vocally sort of organ sound. And I guess most of them are organic sounds, sort of, you know, real live instruments. And even though this is analog sort of synth, it's still got a really nice warm tone to it anyway. And I like to use analog, not analog. I like to use organic, more organic sounding instruments and stuff for this type of thing, just because it creates a nicer tone, something slightly more interesting sonically and aesthetically, I guess. Because you know, every bass line has been used, every chord progression has been used that could have been used has been used, every melody has been used, you know. So I guess it's up to us as sort of producers and composers to try and create a sound that's slightly more interesting as well. I could have just used, you know, a massive preset for this, or you know, some sort of synth preset, but I don't think it would have created the same thing aesthetically. So that's why I like to use more organic sort of sounds, I guess. So I'll just sort of play you them individually. Well, what I've done is I've routed them, before we go on, I've routed them all through this group here called music loops. So they're all working, although there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different instruments that I've sort of chopped they're all working together. So let's just have a listen. So that's the sort of vocal pad. Here's the organ. Here's the... And here's the piano loop. Here's the other piano loop. So, you know, make your own loops as well. This piano was a loop I found. Didn't have quite the right tone and quite the right notes that I was after, so I made one of my own. And then sat it with it. And don't be afraid to make your own loops. I've got this really cool plugin here called RC20 Retro Color, and it makes things sound really sort of old and warm and authentic. So that's really helpful for making things like this. But I guess the main thing out of this, and we've got this other piano loop here. I just did a piano, and then I've reversed it all and then chopped it all. So all of these sort of sounds, I think, are quite sort of old sounding and have got a real nice sort of warmth to them. So let's listen to them all together. So it's a bit of a mishmash and there's a bit of rhythm going on. I guess the other thing I should say is I've EQ'd everything to sit a little better, as usual, as I guess you should. I wouldn't say, maybe not EQ. I've probably filtered it. Is probably more the accurate sort of word there. So for this, for the vocal thing, for the vocal sort of organ, I've just put a high pass and a bit of a low pass on and tweaked it there. Again, high pass, low pass. Just brought out some of the around some more frequencies around 3-4K. Brought more body out again, high pass, low pass, slightly lower pass. So the analog synth has more body to it. The piano loops both have a high pass, and this one's got a bit of a low pass to it because it was really sort of had a real top end sort of air to it, which I didn't want. So I've done filtering and made them sort of sit a little better with each other rather than just whacking them in there. And then there's a little bit of EQ, high pass, and EQ at around sort of 800, 750 there. So and then the other thing that I've done is the other two things, I guess. I've put a bit of a compressor. I've put some nice sort of transparent compression on from this LA2A just to glue everything together and help it sit together as one. But then I've put a compressor on in sidechain mode, and I've sidechained the kick drum to it. So let's find the kick drum. I think it's this kick drum. So I've sidechained the kick drum to it, just so that it's working working against or working with, however you want to say it, the drums. So that helps it to create more of a unison sort of feel. You can see how that's all sort of gluing together now and ducking out underneath the kick drum. And I think you'll agree that it's got quite a nice sort of organic sound, even though, like I said earlier, there's that sort of analogy synth in there. But if we listen to it at this section, we can hear slightly more rhythmically aligned there. Right, so let's just have one last listen in the tune and I'll take it out. And like I said, I could have used a synth for this, but I didn't think I'd get what I wanted out of it. with just a a normal synth, a normal sort of preset from Massive or Reaktor or anything like that. But anyway, here we go. I'm just going to take it out. Obviously there's a big gap in the mix when I take it out, but it really gives a nice warm body, should I say, to it, I think. So give it one more. And I'll bring them in this next bit. Take it to this next section where the analog synth drops out. So yeah, so there you go, guys. Create your own wall of loops. I hope that was useful. And yeah, have a good month, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers. Bye.